You want to create passive income, but you only have $1,000? In this video, I'm going to show you how exactly to do that. How to make $200-300 a month with just a $1,000 investment, and on top of it, get that $1,000 back in a matter of weeks after you invest it. So this video will blow you away. So you like to make passive income from real estate, but you only have $1,000. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. How to use $1,000 or less, apply it to real estate, get $200 to $300 a month in cash flow coming in for years to come, and on top of it, get that $1,000 back in a matter of just a few weeks after you invested it. This video will blow you away because low-cost real estate is absolutely possible. So I'm about to show you how you can simply take $1,000 and use this investment strategy to make that into $200-300 a month in cash flow, and on top of it, get that $1,000 back in a matter of 2-3 weeks after you invest it. I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me right there because there's a little known real estate strategy that most people don't even know exists. Most people with $1,000 think they need to invest it in REITs or something like that, or the stock market, but there is a real estate strategy that allows you to actually apply that and turn that into literally a 10 to 20x return in a matter of a few weeks without knowing anything about houses. So let's go. Let me show you exactly how that works. So what I'm talking about is actually land flipping. And more specifically, what I'm talking about is actually seller financing of land. Now, let me explain that. Now, I know that you probably never thought of land in the first place, but land is the most overlooked real estate strategy in the world right now, land and lots. But personally, my wife and I have done over 4,500 land deals, approaching 5,000 deals, and we have been teaching this all over the world, and our students are doing tens of thousands of deals every single year all over the world. Now, here's what you can do. And we have picked up, by the way, we have picked up properties for $57, for $75, for $100, for $250. So it's absolutely possible to do deals for less than $1,000. Now, here comes the best thing. One of our students just recently did a deal where they got a property for $1,000 and then turned around and sold it for $17,000. And they did it in a very specific way. They did it with what's called seller financing. So they got the property for $1,000 and then marketed it on free platforms, all of which I will cover in just a second. And then what happens is somebody gave them $2,000 as a down payment and then started making monthly payments of $300 for the next 8 years. So if you do the math on that deal, they paid the $1,000 for the property, the same $1,000 that you say you have, and then they got, within a matter of a couple of weeks, they get $2,000 back, so they doubled their money in their pocket, and now they're receiving $250 a month for the next 8 years. And on top of it, they now sold, since they sold the property for $17,000, the remaining $15,000 is coming in monthly payments of $250 a month. But because they have to wait for it, they actually get to charge interest on it. So they're charging 12-13% interest on that. And as a result, that over the 8 years, they're receiving even more money. Because if you look at it, how much is $250 times 12? That's $3,000. $3,000 times 8 is actually $24,000. So they bought something for $1,000, sold it for $17,000 with a $2,000 down payment, and received monthly payments of $250. All of that adding up to a total of $26,000 received. So how would you like to put the $1,000 into a system and make $26,000 out of it, of which most of it comes in as nice monthly cash flow without any tenants, toilets, and termites? That's one of the least known ways to make money in real estate. Because with $1,000, most people send you to the REITs, because you can go buy REIT shares like stock shares, and if they're selling for $100 a share, you can buy 10 shares. But with those shares, you're now subject to just the REITs doing whatever the REITs want to do. You have no control. You have no ability to actually change anything. You're simply sitting there, and it's no different than investing into a dividend stock. With this technique, though, you are in control. You are the one that defines your own destiny. So let me explain how this works. And by the way, share that with your friends, because everyone needs to know how to make money with very little money. The way it works is very simple. There's land all over the United States, all over the place. Obviously, there's infill lots. Those are usually worth much more in the city. Then there's also larger acreage in the more recreational area. That is usually worth a little bit more. So what you want to focus on is that sweet spot in between, meaning you want to go outside of bigger cities, but be only about 30 to perhaps 75 miles away from a big city. Those lots are very, very attractive because those lots allow those that work from home these days, and these are millions of people, to literally move out there, move 20 miles outside, 30 miles outside of town, build something, build a house on there on 5 acres, and basically be able to commute into the city once a week if they need to go to a business meeting. Or if they work 100% from home, they just go once a week for grocery shopping. But because not everyone wants to live in the city, in a cookie cutter home, in a cookie cutter neighborhood, doing exactly what everyone else does. So what happens is the beauty of these properties, particularly if they're a little bit smaller, like an acre or 2 acre, is they're often only worth between $10,000 and $20,000. And often the owners of these properties have held on to these properties for decades, and they're getting older and their kids don't want them, or in some cases they actually passed away already and the kids have inherited the properties and the kids don't want to live there. The kids want to live in the city, they want to live in a good school district, they have teenage kids or elementary school kids, and they don't want to go out there. There's nothing to do for them on those lots. So as a result, what happens is these people, these sellers, are what we call non-wanters. They just don't want these properties anymore. They don't care about them anymore. And they literally assign no value to them. Because on top of it, these properties are a little bit more in a rural area, perhaps on a dirt road, or perhaps just on a road with utilities, but nobody there's no neighbors directly across the street and so on. They're like thinking about these properties, they're like, yeah, they're not worth anything, and they're willing to give them up for absolutely nothing. Well, the most I've ever done is I've bought 110 lots like that from one seller for a total of $10,000. Now, if you do the math on that, that means every single lot cost me $91. And then I turned around and I sold every single one of them for $4,000 each with a $400 down payment and monthly payments of $100 for the next 3 to 4 years. How cool is that? Now, if you add that up together, each of these lots, including interest, made me about $5,000. So 5,000 times 110 is $550,000 from one deal that I got from one seller, just consisted of 110 lots. Well, you can do the exact same thing. So if you take your $1,000, what you want to do is, first of all, put them off to the side, and then you go to a little exercise. First exercise is you go find a growing area in the United States, a growing city, go out like about 30 to 50 miles, look around and see if you find some neighborhoods, some subdivisions where there's a lot of empty lots. Once you find those, you go get a list of property owners from the county or from a data service, and then you send out some letters to them. Now, typically you don't need to send more than perhaps 200-300 letters in such an area, or perhaps 500-600 letters if you send it to 3-4 different areas, and you'll get multiple responses from these owners. Then what happens is you identify which one of those are the most motivated by talking to them, and you make them an offer for $200-300 for each of these lots. Well, if you spend $500-600 on mailers, you have $400 or $500 left, so you can put 2 of these deals for $250 each under contract. And what you do next is you then go, and once you have them under contract, you go and list them in online websites. Online websites like, for example, Facebook Marketplace, 100% for free, no marketing cost. Facebook Groups, 100% for free, no marketing cost. How about Zillow? Also for free. And then there's many other websites where you might have to pay a few bucks. So if you don't want to pay anything, Zillow and Facebook Marketplace and Facebook Groups is your way to success. So you put your properties out there, find somebody that you'll get contacted by people who want exactly that. Might be a future retiree that says, you know what, I can't afford in the city, I need a place outside where I want to go and put a little mobile home on there and then live in peace and a low-cost budget. Or it might just be somebody that that doesn't want to be in the city all the time but wants to spend the weekend but doesn't want to drive 5 hours for the weekend. Just want to have a little place to put their RV and use it as a home base to go hiking, biking, camping, and so on. There's many people who actually want that. Or if it's a little bit of a larger property on a paved road, then it's in many cases actually one of these remote workers that have been working now since COVID. Millions of them have been working from home, and many of them would love to have a place further outside of town. They just want more space. Like COVID has created a need for space. Whichever way it is, you will find your buyer, and the buyer will either pay you cash. In this case, they might make you a $5,000 offer on a property that you have under contract for $250, or they will do exactly what I said earlier. They will agree on a seller financing deal where they pay you $5,000 with a $500 down payment, so you already gotten half of your money back, and $250 a month. So within the down payment and 2 months monthly payment, you have your $1,000 back. You get to do that again, rinse and repeat, and do that as many times as you want. And over time, by the way, that's the exact same model also works for $100,000 properties or even $1 million properties. So as you build up your cash basis and your cash flow, and you put more and more reserves on the side, that's when you go step it up and become one of our land millionaires. If you want to know more, very simply go to www.landblueprint.com or click on the link in the description right here. All right, see you in the next video.